It was a beautiful evening. The wedding hall was full of lights, music, and smiling faces. Sarah walked in wearing a light blue dress. Her daughter, Alina, held her hand tightly. She was just 10 years old, full of energy and always curious. Alina looked around with wide eyes. "Mama, this place is like a fairy tale," Sarah smiled. "Yes, Beta. Now stay close to me, okay?" The party had just started. There were children running, elders chatting, and cameras flashing. Sarah greeted relatives and old friends. She hadn't seen many of them for years. But there was one face she didn't recognize. A man in a black suit stood in the corner, holding a glass in his hand. He wasn't talking to anyone, just watching. His eyes followed Sarah. Sarah didn't notice him at first. She was too busy making sure Alina ate and drank carefully. She never trusted outside food too much. After some time, the same man walked up to Sarah. He had a smile on his face, but something about him felt strange. Too calm, too confident. "Assalamu alaikum," he said. "It's been a long time." Sarah looked at him confused. "Sorry, do I know you?" He smiled again. "You don't remember me? I used to know your husband." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Oh, really? What's your name?" "Faraz," he replied quickly. "May Allah give peace to his soul. He was a good man." Sarah gave a small, polite nod. "Yes, he was." Faraz suddenly lifted a glass and offered it to her. "Here, you look tired. Have a drink." Sarah looked down at the drink. It was dark, orange, cold. Something didn't feel right. "No, thank you," she said softly. "I'm fine." Faraz didn't argue. He just smiled again and walked away. Sarah turned to Alina. "Let's go sit down, okay?" 10 minutes later, the music grew, louder. People were dancing. Kids were playing near the buffet. Sarah sat with a few ladies watching Alina run around happily. Suddenly, a scream. Sarah turned quickly. It was Alina. She had fallen to the ground. Her small body was shaking, eyes rolling back. A woman rushed to lift her, shouting, "She's having a fit!" Sarah ran like she had never run before. She dropped to her knees. "Alina! Beta, look at me! What's happening?" Alina didn't respond. She was gasping. Her lips were turning pale. "Call an ambulance!" someone shouted. Another man ran to get water. Sarah held Alina close, her heart pounding in her chest. Tears streamed down her face. "Please, someone help. My daughter!" People surrounded them, whispering, confused, shocked. She was fine a minute ago. What happened so suddenly? The ambulance came in 10 minutes. It felt like 10 years to Sarah. She rode with Alina, holding her hand the whole way. In the hospital, doctors rushed her into the emergency room. Sarah stood outside, crying, praying, shaking. After what felt like forever, a doctor came out. "She's stable now," he said, "but we need to run some tests." "It looks like poisoning." Sarah's eyes widened. "Poisoning? How?" "She only ate from her own plate. I made sure." The doctor frowned. "It could have been liquid. Maybe a drink?" Sarah's mind flashed back to the glass in Faraz's hand. Her stomach turned cold. She whispered to herself, "That drink? He offered it to me. Was it meant for her? Did Alina drink from it by mistake? Or was it never meant for Sarah at all?" Sarah called the wedding hall. She needed answers. She needed to see the CCTV footage. Something wasn't right. Her daughter didn't just collapse. This was not an accident. This was planned, and she was going to find out the truth, no matter what. The ambulance raced through the dark streets. Red lights flashed, sirens screamed. Inside, Sarah sat next to her daughter, holding her hand tightly. Alina's body was still. Her face was pale. Her small chest moved up and down slowly. "Wake up, Beta." "Please," Sarah whispered, brushing Alina's hair from her face. Mama is here. Open your eyes. But Alina didn't move. At the hospital, doctors rushed her inside. Nurse, prepare! The emergency bed. Start oxygen! Sarah stood at the door, frozen. Her legs felt weak, but her heart was on fire. One of the nurses said gently, "Please wait outside. We'll do our best." Sarah nodded slowly, unable to speak. She sat on a hard plastic chair, staring at the white wall in front of her. Her thoughts were spinning. How did this happen? She was fine. Then her mind went back to the man in the black suit. The way he smiled. The way he held out that drink. Was it poison? But why? Why would someone try to harm me? Or my daughter? An hour later, a doctor came out. "She's stable. Now," he said. "But we are worried. There's something in her system." Sarah stood up quickly. "What do you mean?" "There are signs of poisoning," the doctor said. "It was a small amount, enough to make her body shut down, but not enough to kill." Sarah's hands began to shake. "How is that possible?" she whispered. "She only ate one plate. I saw everything she ate." "Did she drink anything?" the doctor asked. Sarah went silent. That image came again, Faraz, the drink. The strange smile. "I didn't take the drink," she said slowly. "But maybe Alina did?" She left the hospital room and called her cousin Aisha, who was still at the wedding. "Aisha, please go to the buffet table. Check everything. Ask if anyone saw Alina take a drink." Aisha was quick. "Okay, I'll ask." 15 minutes later, Aisha called back. "I talked to the waiter," she said. "He said he saw Alina take a glass from the corner table near where you were sitting." Sarah felt her chest tighten. That's where Faraz was standing. Sarah rushed back into the hospital room. Alina was lying still, her small hand wrapped in bandages. Machines beeped softly. Sarah sat beside her. She couldn't cry anymore. She had no more tears left. She just held Alina's hand and whispered, "Mama's going to fix this. I promise." That night, she called the wedding hall manager. "I need to see the CCTV footage," she said. "Something happened at your event tonight. I think someone tried to poison me and hurt my daughter instead." The manager agreed to meet her in the morning. Sarah didn't sleep. She watched over Alina all night, waiting for her to wake up, praying. The next morning, she went back to the hall. The manager took her to the office. They opened the camera footage from the night before. Sarah watched the screen closely, people laughing, dancing, and then, there he was, Faraz, standing near the buffet, holding a glass. She saw herself on the screen. He walked up to her, talked, held out the drink. Sarah shook her head and refused. Then he walked back to the corner. Alina came running to get a napkin and paused. She picked up the glass. Sarah gasped. But just as she tried to rewind and watch again, the footage stopped. The manager clicked again. "No, this part is missing," he said. "It skips 5 minutes." Sarah looked at him. "Missing? How?" "I don't know," he said. "It looks like someone deleted it." Sarah's heart pounded. Someone was hiding something, and now she knew this wasn't just about a drink. Someone wanted her gone, and now they had hurt her daughter instead. Sarah looked straight into the camera. "Feed," she whispered. "I'm coming for the truth." Sarah sat in the manager's office, staring at the screen. The footage ended too early. She could clearly see Alina reaching for the drink. And then, nothing. 5 minutes were missing. "How can a part of the video be gone?" she asked. The manager looked nervous. "I don't know, madam. This has never happened before." Sarah's voice turned cold. "Who has access to this system?" "Only me and one other technician. Call him," Sarah said firmly. The technician came in. Young guy, glasses, nervous face. He looked at the footage. Sarah pointed. "Where are the missing 5 minutes?" He scratched his head. "This looks like it was manually deleted." Someone removed just this part. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Then, find out who did it. And tell me how Faraz got access. The technician was silent. Sarah didn't wait. She turned and walked out. Back at the hospital, Alina was awake, but weak. "Mama," she whispered. Sarah smiled softly, holding her hand. "I'm here, baby. I won't go anywhere." Alina blinked slowly. Why was that juice so bitter? Sarah's heart dropped. "Which juice, Beta?" "The orange one. The man in black gave it to you. You said no. So I drank it." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. It was meant for her. She hugged Alina tightly. "I'm so sorry, Jan. I didn't know." Later that day, Sarah went home and opened her old photo albums. She needed to remember. Who was Faraz? Why was he at the wedding? And why would he want to harm her? She flipped through the pages, then stopped. Her hand trembled. There it was, a photo from 12 years ago. Her wedding day. Her husband, Samir, smiling. And behind him, Faraz, not in a black suit but still the same face. Sarah whispered, "You were his friend." She called her brother. "Do you remember a man named Faraz? He was friends with Samir." Her brother was quiet. "Yes, Faraz. I remember. They had a big fight before Samir died." "What kind of fight?" "I don't know the full story, just that it was something serious. They stopped talking completely." Sarah hung up. Now the pieces were coming together. That night she got a call. From a private number, she answered carefully. "Hello?" A slow voice replied. "You should stop digging. Some truths are dangerous." Sarah froze. It was a man's voice. Calm, controlled, too calm. It sounded like Faraz. She didn't speak, just listened. The voice continued. "What happened? To your daughter was an accident, but next time I won't miss." Then the line went dead. Sarah's hands shook. Her legs gave way and she sat on the floor. Tears filled her eyes, but not from fear, from anger, from pain. He tried to kill her. And now he was warning her? She wiped her tears and looked at her daughter's photo on the table. "This is not over," she whispered. "You hurt the wrong child." Sarah knew what she had to do now. She had to go back to her husband's past. Back to the story that started years ago. If she wanted to protect her daughter, she had to uncover the secret her husband left behind. Sarah couldn't sleep that night. The voice on the phone kept echoing in her mind. "Next time, I won't miss." Her hands were cold. Her eyes were full of tears. But her heart was full of fire. She went to the old cupboard in her room. There was a small wooden box hidden at the back. Samir's box. She hadn't opened it in years. Her fingers shook as she lifted the lid. Inside were some letters, a wristwatch, a photo, and one sealed envelope. The writing on it was familiar. Samir's handwriting. It said, "If something happens to me, give this to Sarah." Sarah opened the letter with trembling hands. The paper was old, but the ink was clear. "My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this, then I'm probably gone. I'm sorry. There are things I never told you. I made mistakes, trusting the wrong people, especially Faraz." Sarah gasped. Samir had written about him. "Faraz and I were like brothers once, but he changed. He got into shady business, money, threats, power. I tried to stop him. He turned against me." Sarah's eyes widened. "He told me once, if I ever spoke, he would destroy everything I loved. I kept quiet, but now I fear it's too late." Sarah folded the letter. Now it all made sense. Faraz wasn't just a jealous friend. He was dangerous. He had power. He had secrets. And now he was back. But the biggest question was, why now? Why after all these years? And why target Sarah? The next morning, Sarah visited an old friend of Samir's, Uncle Khalid. He was like a second father to her. Samir trusted him. She showed him the letter. He read it silently. His face turned serious. "Khalid, uncle," she asked, "what business was Faraz involved in?" Uncle sighed. "Samir never told you?" "No, he kept me away from all that." Khalid looked down. "Faraz was running illegal deals, land fraud, fake investments, blackmail. Samir found out and tried to report him." Sarah's eyes burned. "So Faraz had a reason to hate him?" "Yes. And now, maybe he thinks you know something." "But I don't." Khalid nodded. "He doesn't care. He wants to silence anyone close to the truth." Sarah sat in her car afterward, holding the letter tightly. Faraz wanted her to stop. But now she had a reason to keep going. She needed evidence. Proof of Faraz's crimes. She needed to expose him before he hurt anyone else, especially her daughter. That night, she received another message. It was a photo, a picture of Alina taken at school that day. Sarah's heart nearly stopped. She called the police. She called the school, but no one had seen anything strange. No strange man. No black car. The message had no words, just the photo. It was a warning, a silent threat. Sarah stared at the screen. Her voice broke as she whispered, "You think you can scare me? But you made one big mistake. You came after my daughter." She knew what had to be done next. It was time to dig deeper. It was time to fight back. Not with fear, but with truth. Sarah woke up before sunrise. She had barely slept, but her mind was sharp. One question burned in her thoughts. Did Samir leave behind more than just a letter? If he knew he was in danger, if he feared Faraz, maybe he had hidden proof. Sarah began searching the house, carefully, room by room, old cupboards, locked drawers, boxes in the attic. Nothing. But then, under their old bed, behind a loose wooden plank, her hand touched something, a black plastic folder. Dusty. Taped shut. She opened it slowly, and there it was. Pages and pages of secrets. Inside were documents, bank papers, photos of Faraz meeting strange men, copies of fake land deals with forged signatures, and a small USB drive. Sarah's heart beat faster. Samir had been collecting everything. He was building a case, but he never got the chance to finish. Sarah inserted the USB drive into her laptop. It opened instantly. There were 3 video files. She clicked the first. Samir was on the screen, looking tired, worried. "If you're watching this," he said, "it means I didn't make it. Faraz is dangerous. I tried to stop him, but I think he knows. I'm being followed." Sarah covered her mouth. Tears filled her eyes. Samir looked straight into the camera. "Please protect Alina. And Sarah, I'm sorry. I love you." The second video showed Faraz at a secret meeting. A hidden camera was recording. He was talking about buying off a government officer, about silencing someone. The video was short, but the voice was clear. It was him. The third video was darker. A voice in the background said, "We'll handle it. He'll disappear. Just give the word." And then a hand came in front of the camera and shut it off. Sarah sat back in her chair, shocked. These videos were dangerous, but they were also the truth. She copied everything to a new drive and hid it in her purse. She knew what she had to do. Take this to the police, expose Faraz, end this nightmare. She drove straight to the police station. She met Officer Danish, a serious man with kind eyes. She told him everything, showed him the folder. The USB. At first, he listened silently. Then he spoke. "We've heard about Faraz before, but no one ever had proof." He looked at the screen as the videos played. This changes everything. But just as he was about to copy the data, the power went out. All lights shut off. The computer screen went black. Outside, tires screeched. Gunshots. Sarah ducked. People screamed in the hallway. Officer Danish pulled her to the ground. "Stay down!" Within seconds, it was chaos. Sarah heard someone shout, "Get the folder! Destroy the drive!" Her heart raced. They had come for her. Faraz knew she had the proof. She grabbed her purse and ran toward the back door with Officer Danish. Bullets hit the wall behind them. They barely escaped. Outside, breathless, Sarah turned to him. "They'll never stop," Officer Danish nodded. "Then we don't stop either." He opened his phone and made a call. "We need protection for Sarah and her daughter, now." As they drove away, Sarah looked out the window, tears in her eyes, not from fear, but from determination. "You can chase me, threaten me, try to silence me," she whispered, "but I'm not running anymore." Sarah sat in a safe house far from the city. Her hands clutched a cup of tea, but it had gone cold. She wasn't drinking. Her mind was busy. Faraz had tried to silence her. He had followed her, sent threats, even attacked the police station. But he had failed, and now it was her turn. Officer Danish sat across from her. His voice was calm but serious. "We're going to trap him, Sarah, but we need your help." She nodded. "What do I have to do?" The plan was dangerous. They would leak fake information, make Faraz believe that Sarah was meeting a journalist at an abandoned warehouse. There, she would hand over the USB. But in reality, the journalist was a special agent, and the whole place would be surrounded by police, hidden, ready to arrest Faraz. Sarah agreed. She was scared, but she was ready. "He hurt my daughter," she said. "Now I'll make sure he never hurts anyone again." That evening, news spread through the city, a rumor. "The woman with the proof against Faraz is talking to the media tonight." The bait was set. Sarah arrived at the warehouse at 9 p.m., dressed in black. She wore a hidden mic. Officer Danish stayed in contact through an earpiece. The place was dark and cold. She stood alone under a broken light, holding the fake USB. Every sound echoed: footsteps, a distant car horn, the wind. Then, a black SUV stopped outside. The door opened slowly. Faraz stepped out. He walked toward her with a fake smile. "You never knew when to stay quiet, Sarah." Sarah stood still, calm. "I learned from Samir. He didn't fear you. Neither do I." Faraz chuckled. "And now, you'll pay the same price." He raised a hand, and two men came from the shadows. They pointed guns at her, but Sarah didn't move. She whispered into her mic, "Now." Suddenly, floodlights flashed on. Dozens of police officers appeared from the dark corners, guns drawn, shouting, "Drop your weapons!" Faraz froze. His men panicked and ran, but were quickly caught. Officer Danish walked up behind Faraz. "You're finished." Faraz laughed bitterly. "You think this is over? You think I'm the only one?" Sarah stepped forward. "No, but you're the first." Faraz looked at her one last time, full of hate. Then the handcuffs clicked around his wrists. The nightmare was ending. Sarah watched silently as Faraz was taken away. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but this time they were tears of relief, not fear. Later that night, Sarah and Officer Danish sat at the police station. He smiled. "You were brave tonight," Sarah nodded. "I didn't want to be, I just had no choice." Danish placed a file in front of her. "We found a lot in Faraz's car. More files. Names, hidden accounts. We're going to clean this up." Sarah looked at him, her eyes tired but full of hope. "Good. Do it for Samir, and for all the people." Faraz hurt. She went home and hugged Alina tightly. Her daughter was safe. That was all that mattered. Alina looked up at her mother and whispered, "Mama, are the bad people gone?" Sarah smiled softly. "Almost, John. Almost." But deep inside, she knew this fight wasn't over. Faraz was just the beginning, and the real danger might still be hiding in the shadows. Days passed after Faraz's arrest. The city was quiet again, but Sarah's heart still felt heavy. She sat on the balcony looking at the sky. Alina played quietly beside her. Things had calmed down, but one question remained. How did Samir really die? The police had called it an accident, but now with everything Faraz had done, Sarah wasn't so sure anymore. Officer Danish visited her one evening. He carried a small box. "What's this?" she asked. "We searched Faraz's main office, found this hidden in a locked drawer. It's for you." Sarah opened the box slowly. Inside was a second USB drive and a note. The note said, "Sarah, I never stopped loving you. If I disappear, this drive will explain why. I hope one day you'll forgive me." Sarah's hands trembled as she inserted the USB into her laptop. A video opened. Samir was sitting in their old bedroom. His eyes were tired. His face looked serious. "Sarah, if you're watching this, then something happened to me, and you need to know the truth. I tried to stop Faraz, but I wasn't careful. I got too close. I found out he was paying someone close to us, to keep watch on me." Sarah leaned forward. "Who was it?" "It was Zubair, my old friend." "My driver, the one I trusted like a brother," Sarah gasped. "He told Faraz where I was going, what I was doing. That night when I crashed my car, it wasn't an accident." Tears ran down Sarah's face. Samir had been murdered. "I recorded everything. It's on this drive. Use it if you have to. But most of all, take care of our daughter and live your life, not in fear, but in love. I'm sorry for every moment I was away from you. I love you, Sarah. Always." Sarah closed the laptop and hugged it to her chest. She cried. For the pain, for the truth, for the years lost, but also for the strength she had found. The next day, she gave the new USB to Officer Danish. He smiled softly. "We'll reopen the case. Zubair will be found, and justice will be done." Sarah nodded. "Samir deserves that. We all do." Months passed. Zubair was caught. He confessed. Faraz was sentenced to prison. Sarah's name was cleared. Her bravery was praised in the news, but she stayed quiet. She didn't want fame. She only wanted peace. One morning, Sarah took Alina to the beach. The sun was rising. The sky was full of colors. They sat on the sand, holding hands. Alina looked up. "Mama, are we safe now?" Sarah smiled. "Yes, my love. We're safe, and we're strong." Alina reached into her pocket and gave Sarah a small seashell. "This is for Papa." Sarah held the shell close to her heart. "Thank you, John. He would have loved it." And as the waves touched their feet, Sarah whispered her final words into the wind. "Samir, I found the truth. I found the strength, and I'll keep going because of you."